All right, everybody, what's up? Michael Edward here, head trader at True Trading Group. Today is January 6th. We've got a good video here. It's a topic that a lot of traders struggle with. I'm going to share with you some tips and hints on how to add to a winning trade. It's something that honestly is probably something that sometimes that I struggle with as well, but it's something that a lot of traders do struggle with, which is adding to winning positions. There's a specific strategy that I teach, which is called a tier trading strategy, something that I learned when I worked at the hedge fund, and I've tweaked it to implement it into my own personal trading, and I use that to teach all of our True Trading Group members on how to tier out of positions when the stock works in your favor instead of just selling your position all at once. It's really designed to help you stay in winning trades longer, but it's also designed to help keep losing trades small, because there are times when you can also tier into your position as well. That's what I did today with CTIB. Okay, we caught a 35% gain on the bulk of my position on CTIB. On the from the initial entry point, and then I actually added to a max size position because I got some confirmation on the pattern and setup that I was looking for. I got some confirmation that I was right, and that's the key concept that we're going to take away from this lesson, is that when you are adding to a position, it needs to be because you've gotten some new piece of information. You should not be adding to a position when nothing has changed. If it's the same setup, nothing new has happened, there's no new piece of information, there's nothing that has changed that pushes the scale further in your favor, then you can add to the position. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be something has to have happened that confirms your original thesis, and that's why you go ahead and you add to your position. All right. So this is going to be a really good video. You guys are going to want to pay attention, take some notes. It's something that can definitely be something that is very, very helpful, and something that a lot of traders actually struggle with. So what I want to do real quick, because before I get into this lesson, it's a really good one. I want to remind you guys that tomorrow's TGG Tuesday. The chat room is open free. If you want to come in and join me live, you can see my screen, hear me on the microphone, breaking down my analysis and everything in real time. You can go to truetradinggroup.com, upper right-hand corner, click on TGG Tuesday, register, and you'll get a link that'll provide you access to our chat room for free for the whole day. Okay. On top of that, we still have the 20% off a one-year all-inclusive membership that ends January 10th. If you guys want to take advantage of that 20% discount, you can click the link in the description below. Use coupon code SAVE20, and that'll give you 1 year of all-inclusive access to my chat room, trade alerts, text message alerts, email swing trade alerts, all of the courses, beginner courses, advanced courses, options, trader psychology, as well as all future courses that are coming out down the road. I'm going to be putting out some new courses in 2020 coming out real soon. You guys will get access to everything. It's an all-inclusive membership. So click the link in the description below if you guys are interested in that. Remember, it's 20% off until January 10th. So you guys got 4 days left. All right, let's get into this trade on CTIB. And I want to talk you guys kind of through this. CTIB, I actually missed the better setup on CTIB. There was an A setup on CTIB early in the morning that I missed by, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half by the time that I pulled it up and really started to pay some serious attention to it, because I was focused on other things off the morning. We were gapping down big on the SPY. I really wanted to see how the SPY reacted today. I wanted to see if the SPY took back the gap down like it did on Friday. There was a big gap down on Friday with the Iran-US tensions and the military strike. So we had the big gap down on Friday, but the huge chunk of that gap down was bought up, and it was bought up aggressively on Friday. We gapped down again significantly today, and the entire gap down was bought up, and the markets actually went green. So I was really paying attention to how that volatility was going to be digested in the overall markets. So I wasn't really paying attention to CTIB, which to start the day was a dollar stock with very low volume. It was halted in the first couple of minutes of the day, and volume was extremely light. So when it was halted, I was, I'm not going to really pay too much attention to it until it proves to me that it has strong enough and consistent volume coming out of the trading halt. Then I'll pay attention to it. So I missed the first setup. By the time I started to really look for an entry, I missed it. I never got a fill, and the stock just took off without me. Otherwise, this could have been a monster trade. Even though this was still a good one, it could have been a monster trade if I got caught the first setup. Let's talk about the first setup real quick, just so we'll have multiple lessons kind of in this video. And let's pan this over to the trading halt. So here you guys can see right off the bell, we get this trading halt. I want you to remember that trading halts act very similar to initial morning highs when they get broken with a strong increase in volume. I always talk about, you guys will never see me buy a stock into a trading halt and buy a stock immediately following a trading halt. Really, that's something you'll see a lot of scalpers do. There's nothing wrong with it. The scalpers trying to take advantage of the momentum and the order flow coming back into the stock off of the trading halt, with all that order flow then coming into the market. It's pretty common to see a quick pop, okay, off of a trading halt when the stock is halted on the way up. So sometimes you'll see scalpers do that. Well, they'll get in, they'll get out, but within just a couple of seconds. It's not my trading style, so I don't do that. What I like to look for is, when the stock comes out of the trading halt, is there strong, consistent volume? That's what I like to see. And coming out of the trading halt, you can see we got that nice increase in volume coming out of the trading halt. And when you see that, that previous halt price can start to act like an initial morning high. What do I mean by that? Just like how when a stock breaks the initial morning high with a strong increase in volume, the chances of that previous high becoming support now increases. Same thing holds true for a halt price. They act very similar. So when you get a halt price like that, with an increase in volume coming out of the halt, where the stock pushes higher, like you see here on CTIB, look to see if other support indicators line up with that halt price, and if that halt price is starting to hold support. Because if it is, you could have a huge trade on your hands, because that could be a lot of momentum in a stock that is triggering these volatility halts. It means it can make a really big move. Usually it'll have a small float if it's triggering those halts, and that's exactly what you saw here on CTIB. You can see here the halt price lines up with, let me actually make this a little bit so this is easier on the eyes for you guys to see. Here we go. I'll make my Fibonacci levels a little bit thicker so it's easier for you guys to see. So here you can see the 38.2 Fibonacci level lines up right with that halt price. Then look what else you have here, VWAP. So now you've got VWAP, the 38.2 Fib level, and the previous halt price lining up to give you an area of support here around 185. So this little consolidation here, these three candles, okay, where you can see we held that was the buying zone. And it was right here, okay, that I really started to look at an entry on CTIB, and I started bidding right down here in front of VWAP. I never got the fill. It just took right off, broke through the high of the day. It actually halted here again, and then opened up and continued and surged higher and went much higher. This could have been a huge trade. You're talking about a $2 entry. The stock went to $4. Talking about 100% gain in just a matter of minutes for this stock. And that's a kind of power that you're talking about here. All right. And that was I think the better of the setups, but I caught the second move. All right, I caught the second move. And now we're going to talk. I wanted to share that with you because it was a grade A setup. I wanted you to point it out, even though it's not related to the lesson we're talking about. It's still a really good setup. And we had a lesson there about the halt price and everything like that to help you guys identify when a stock still has momentum coming out of that halt. But the lesson to focus on now is what we're going to talk about is how to add to a winning trade. Coming into the CTIB trade, now that the stock has broken through the high of the day and has extended higher, what I did was say, okay, here is my previous high of the day right there. When we broke through that high, look at how strong this volume was. That is amazing volume on the break through that high. When you see volume like that, strong, steady, consistent volume when a stock breaks through the high of the day, that's a sign the stock has momentum. All right. And with those kind of volume bars, I'm thinking to myself, this thing is not done yet. I'm going to try to buy that first pullback. So I went ahead and I drew out my Fibonacci retracement levels, again, extended it up to the new high. And when I start to see here, okay, as we start to push, okay, so here was the previous, as we start to push, I just start to move my Fibonacci level up until I get a real pullback. And once we get this first real sustained pullback here, what you start to see is that initial morning high, not initial morning high, excuse me, that previous high lines up with the 50 Fibonacci level. With the strength of the volume that came in on this break, I didn't think we were going to get back down to this level. This volume was too heavy. All right, that to me tells me that this stock's not going to get all the way back down to the 50 Fibonacci level, and I was right. We never pulled back in down to that level. And the reason why I thought that was because this volume was just too strong. That volume was just too strong. So now I'm starting to look for other support areas that I can look for a pullback. Now, a previous video that I just posted, my last video on Friday, is titled How to Buy Pullbacks. If you missed that video, I highly suggest you go watch it. Now we're going to talk about implementing that exact same lesson into this trade today. If you did watch that video, then you already know what I'm probably going to say. One of the things we look for when you're trying to identify a buying opportunity on a pullback is when a stock makes a real strong move higher with real strong, steady, consistent increasing volume. When you get the pullback, you want to see a significant decrease in trading volume on the pullback to let you know it's just profit taking, not aggressive selling. And you look for support indicators to identify a buying zone. Okay. And that's exactly what we did on CTIB. So what I start to do now is, now that I redrew my Fibonacci retracement level, you see the 23.6. Why did this just go back? Let me make these lines bigger again so it's easy for you guys to see. All right, so there's the 23.6 Fibonacci level. And what I started to see was the trade line start to come up into play here. So now I'm saying I've got the trade line and the 23.6 Fib level. Down here is VWAP and the 38.2 Fibonacci level. And then my final support level will be that at that previous high and the 50 Fibonacci level. I think if we get down there, I think that's going to be a significant support level. If we get down there on this pullback, I would definitely expect some type of bounce off of that level, meaning if CTIB just did that on the pullback, I would absolutely expect the next candle to look something like that. All right. So meaning if these two support levels do not hold, there's three levels here that you guys can look at: the 23.6 Fib and trade line, 38.2 Fib and VWAP, and then 50 Fib and previous high. Those are your three levels. All right. So I'm thinking to myself, with this kind of volume, I'm liking either the first or second buying zone. All right. So on this first pullback, first thing I see is a nice drop off in trading volume. Look at that big drop off in trading volume on this pullback. So on this pullback, I go ahead and I get long right there at $3, even on the button. Okay. Let's go to my trade announcements. Here you guys can see long CTIB at $3 at 10:18 a.m. Okay, there I am long at $3. And my stop loss, I'm risking down to the 240 area. Why? Because I expect this to be a key support level in case the stock does that. Oh, let me leave that. In case the stock does that to me, I expect there to be support down in this region because of how strong the volume was after the break of that high a day. So I'm expecting there to be support there. So if the stock does do that, I don't want to panic out of my position at $2.50 and the stock holds 240 and then bounces back to $3. So what I'm doing here is, yes, a lot of you might say, Mike, you're crazy. That's too big of a stop loss. My answer to you is no, it's not, because the risk reward makes sense. The risk reward on the trade makes sense because what I was looking for was, I thought if we broke through the high of the day, I thought this had a chance to go to $5. So what I'm saying to myself here now in this trade is, let me reduce my position size so that if we do get stopped out all the way down at 240, it's a dollar amount that I'm comfortable with. I've talked about this many, many times. Okay, you do not go and buy the same position size every time. You have to adjust it for the volatility of the stock you're trading and where your stop loss needs to be. I'm not arbitrarily setting my stop loss somewhere. I'm setting my stop loss where the support levels are. All right, and that's why I had to set my stop loss down at around that 240 level, which means I'm just going to adjust my position size down so that if I do get stopped out in this trade, it's a dollar amount that is a typical loss for me. Okay, so it doesn't matter how big the stop loss is percentage wise, as long as the risk reward makes sense. It doesn't matter how big the percentage is. It could be 10%, it could be 12%. Okay, but if, let's say, you're comfortable risking $500 on a trade, you just adjust your position size so that 12% is $500. But it's okay to risk 12% if you're right, you can make 50%. The risk reward has to make sense. Then you just adjust your position size. That's it. All right. So that's what I did. And now I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm in this trade. I've reduced my position size. Now, if I'm right, I really want to get more size though. I really want to add to this position. So I'm going to look for what needs to happen here to give me confirmation that this support level on this pullback is going to hold and we're going to get another move higher. What type of confirmation do I need? Well, do we get a reversal signal off of one of these support levels? Does volume start to increase again to the up when the stock starts to move higher? What do I need? Something new needs to happen. I'm not just going to go ahead and add to this position right here because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I've not gotten confirmation. Remember, you want to add to your position when you get confirmation that your initial thought process is actually proven correct. That is when you add to your position, when things are now, the scale has now tilted further in your favor. All right. The chances of the stock doing what you think it's going to do have increased because of this new thing that has happened. For me, it was a couple of things. Let me delete this. Let me delete my entry. I'll put it back so we can see later. You can see this nice tail that gets put in here at VWAP. Then you can see we have very, very brief little minor resistance, little pivot area kind of that you guys can see. What's going on here? What am I? Oh, that's why I accidentally have, do I have repeat on? Yep, I have repeat on. That's why. I'm sorry, guys. I drew like a bunch of lines here. Let me delete all these. I'll draw one more. So here's your little pivot area. I'm saying if we can get above that, we should make a move. Surely enough, we pop our head right above this little area here. Right here, we pop above it. Right here, we pop above it. But also notice what just happened. Volume is starting to pick up again. That was some of the confirmation that I needed. So here's the initial entry at $3. And then here's where I added to my position at $3.29. Back to my trade announcements. You can see here added to a max tier 3 position at $3.29. Notice I have a new stop loss now. This is an important factor that you need to take into account when you are adding to your position. When you add to your position, you almost need to treat this like a new trade with a new stop loss. What you do not want to do is add to the position up here and then hold on to that entire position all the way back down to your initial stop loss. That is not what you want to do. Remember, the reason why you're adding to the position is because something new has happened that confirms your initial thought process, which means the stock now should not get back down to that initial stop loss. Move your stop loss up to a new level to reduce your risk because you just took on more risk by adding to your position. So what I did was move my stop loss up to 280. Where's 280? Right there at VWAP. VWAP just showed me an area of support. So now I'm saying that's my new stop loss. And that's why you guys can see my new stop loss, $2.80 now that I added to the position. This is how you properly add to a winning trade. I'm in at $3. The stock's now at $3.29, $3.30. So I'm up on the trade, but I want to get more. I just got confirmation that my initial thought process is correct. So I'm going to add to the position. Something new has happened. I've got new information that tilts the scale in my favor. I'm adding to that position. And at the same time, I'm moving my stop loss up to protect myself now that I have the extra size. All right. Then surely enough, we start to make a little bit of a move here. We push up. We get up here, test the highs. Okay, we get up here, test the highs of the day. My first take profit is always in front of the high of the day. You guys can see here. Oh, I'm sorry, not here. It is actually back here. Okay, where I took my first piece of profit off the table, $3.55. I took some profit. So I'm long at $3. I added at $3.29. I took 25% of my position off the table now at $3.55. Now I want to protect myself and now look for a new high of the day. My next take profit target is over $4. If the high of the day was $3.85, I said if we get through $3.85, I think we push over $4. Bang, we push over $4. I sell the bulk of my position at $4.05, and I was holding on to 25% of the position. Now, some of you might say, Mike, how the hell did you know the stock was going to fail and tail like that? I didn't know that. I'm sticking to my profit targets. When I initially entered this trade, I had 3 profit targets. First, in front of the high of the day. Check. Second, through the high of the day. Check. And my last profit target would have been $5 if we got that real big momentum squeeze. We did not get that big momentum squeeze. And it's not that I had a crystal ball and I knew the stock was going to fail here. I'm just sticking to my profit targets. When I set profit targets, I don't care if they're reached in 5 seconds or 5 hours. I'm taking profit at that price point. That's my game plan. I'm sticking to it. That's exactly what happened here with CTIB, and taking profit off at $4.05. That's a 35% gain from the initial entry at $3. Okay, then I added to a maxed out position, okay, max size that I would get at $3.29, took my profits off. And after this huge rejection candle, I said, there's no way I'm sticking around for this. That's a terrifying candle for anyone that's long. And I sold out the last piece of my position right there at 325. You can see final take at $3.25. So I made very little on that last piece. Okay, I made very little on that last piece. All right, well, that wasn't too bad. I made a little bit on that last piece. All right, but the bulk of the position, obviously, coming off at 405, that's the big win, and that was what allowed me to kind of walk away from the day with a nice P&L day and a great way to start the week. But again, guys, I want you to take away the lessons from this video is really designed to really help you know when to add to winning positions and what are some of the things that you're going to want to look for, some things you can check off before you go ahead and add to that position. Just remember, keep in mind that you always want to make sure that something new has happened that pushes the scale in your favor, and that is why you're going to add to your position. And at the same time, treat it almost like it's a brand new trade. Move your stop loss up from that initial entry. All right, those are the key takeaways from this video. Guys, remember tomorrow, TG Tuesday. Join me. Go to TrueTradingGroup.com. Click on TG Tuesday, register. You guys can come and chat, trade with me live for free tomorrow on January 7th, Tuesday. And then again, 20% off that 1-year all-inclusive membership is active until January 10th. Click the link below in the description to take advantage of that 20% discount and trade with me every day and get that 1-year all-inclusive access. Also, guys, make sure to smash that like button. Show me some love. Comment below. I answer all of your comments. And if you have not done so already, you better subscribe and hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on any of these awesome videos that I'm posting on the daily. I'll see you guys in chat tomorrow. Take care.